Hey y'all, happy Friday. It's the last day of the week before the weekend again, and that means that it's time for Full Bloom Friday. So I'm Rose Leopold. I'm a child and family coach with Full Bloom Coaching by Rose, and this is my weekly live stream to talk about all kinds of health topics. And I believe in a holistic model of health. So sometimes that looks like, talking about sleep or talking about diet. And sometimes, like today, it's talking about things that are more emotional. So um, I've kind of been at a loss for a lot of this week as to what I was going to talk and share about today, because of the unexpected events going on in my life. And really, I wanted to share about these events. I like doing Full Bloom Friday around a topic that has been personally relevant to me over the past week, especially. So I do feel like at this point that I've gained enough clarity and knowledge from um, my life over the past week to be able to share some insights, which is my goal, just to share my personal insights and experience and knowledge that I've gathered in the hope that it helps someone in their process and in their life. So I found out early Monday morning, that my childhood best friend died in a car accident over the weekend on Sunday, and there were, so many emotions that came up. Um, for a lot of the week, I've been going through swings between numbness and shock, to lots of tears, lots of crying, and then to just kind of a place of hopelessness, and depression in a way that I haven't experienced it for many months, if not years. And this is interesting for me as a grieving process, as a grieving process of death, because I have never had anyone die before who was this close to me, for as long as she and I were close, who died unexpectedly. Um, And so there's just been a learning process with that, right? Like, what is the way that I can best take care of myself, that I can honor my feelings, that I can support the people around me who are feeling, similar feelings, who are experiencing loss, and in some ways like much greater loss. So it's been a lot, and certainly a learning process. And today I'm just going to share like the three big things that have been most helpful to me throughout this past week. um, so yeah, the first one, um, and I think this is important a lot of the time, and especially when we're feeling feelings that are not comfortable, maybe, is that I found a lot of solace in my community. And for some context on this, my friend who died, she lived in a different state. We were best friends up until I moved when I was 13, and so being in a different state and finding out the news, there wasn't anyone really around me who I was, physically with, who really who knew her, and I felt pretty lost and alone in the sense of I'm having this big grieving process and no one even knows who she is, right? We can't share memories, we can't talk about her. Um, and so something that was really helpful for me was to uh, send out some information about her. Like one of her old professors had written an article talking about just some of the amazing things about her, and I sent it to a few close friends and to my partner, and I said, can you just please read this, because I'm feeling really alone and would really love for you to know too, like, what a wonderful person she is. And that helped a lot, just in fostering a sense of more relatable support, and community. And I'm so grateful that I have the support system that I do, that I have friends, and that my partner were willing to take the time to read that and to understand where I was at. And then of course down um, going out of state for the funeral, uh, being around the community that did know her, and her brother, who also died in the car accident, um, was very cathartic, to be able to share memories and to talk and to be in an atmosphere where the feeling, the there was a wide array of feelings being expressed, and and we still all had like common, our hearts were all connected in like why we were there, right? Like what was coming up. We could be supportive of each other in the way that, what was coming up was just coming up. And some of it's involuntary, right? A lot of it even. I think especially in times of really heightened, uncomfortable emotions like grief or depression or anger, we don't always volunteer, it's those feelings aren't as conscious, or aren't typically as conscious. So sometimes things just come up. I know I had this wondering, like, am I if I think about her, if I have memories, if I have like a funny memory or a happy memory, like, am I allowed to laugh and smile? And it was, and I am, of course, but I didn't always feel secure in that. And so it was nice to be down there around that community and really feel like, oh yeah, we're not only grieving, we're also celebrating, we're also remembering, um, and whatever emotions come up, we're here and we're supportive and we're connected through our hearts, through our spirits, by the common thread of these people that we loved, these beings that we love. So community has been certainly, one of the most important, aspects of support in this grieving process for me. Another really supportive and I think necessary aspect, that has been, I don't want to say the most helpful necessarily, but certainly, necessary, I think, for me moving through the process is just experiencing and expressing my emotions. And a lot of that was tears, and then there were also moments where, I wasn't crying and I didn't feel numb, and I had words in my head, but I didn't know what to say. There was kind of a communication barrier, right? Like I was thinking about her, I was thinking about the family, I was thinking about memories, I was thinking about the car accident, like I was having like horrific, just like thoughts in my head, right? And realizing that even if the words didn't come out very eloquently, or perfection is the enemy of progress, right? And I certainly am moving through perfectionistic tendencies still. Um, And it was really important, though, for me to realize that when I was having a lot of those thoughts, that expressing them was going to be crucial for me to process the emotions that were behind them. Um, and that the crying and the anger and the hopelessness, that all of those things seem to be a little lighter when given voice to, when shared about, when expressed, whether it was through tears or through music. I have been finding so much solace in music and in singing. At the at the funeral, that was my favorite part, was all of the music and singing. And I just, yeah, every word that I sung, every note, it was for her. Um, and that was so cathartic and so helpful to just feel free to express and to remind myself, especially in those moments of heightened or maybe suppressed emotion, that it is okay. I am allowed, I am encouraged to feel however I feel. The final thing that has been um, very helpful and also crucial to this process, to the healing process, has been being aware of my boundaries and my energy levels, because certainly all of the crying and the grief process, all the emotions that go into it. I mean, even just the planning, the logistics on how am I going to travel out of state for this funeral, and planning those, planning that in the midst of all those feelings, that's a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy to feel things that are not as comfortable to feel. Although, it certainly takes more energy to suppress those feelings. Um, that being said, since I had so much energy going towards this grief process, it makes sense that there were things that were just, you know, going to be put on the back burner, not going to be done, people that I wasn't available for. And that's okay. There was a lot of saying no, a lot of canceling plans this week. I didn't go to class yesterday because of the funeral. I didn't go to class. Well, I tried to go to class Tuesday, and after my second crying spell, decided to leave. So just for me, being really aware of, I am where I'm at, and I'm moving through it, and right now I need my resources. I am choosing to give my resources to myself, more of them than usual, instead of giving as many of them to social engagements or other commitments or other people. Um, that was very important. I don't, I certainly wouldn't be where, I would not have come as far as I have in the grief process if I did not dedicate the time and energy to processing the grief. So those are the three things that have been helping me the most: community, expressing my emotions, and really being aware of my boundaries and my energy levels. And I have no idea what the process will look like moving forward. I'm so grateful to have gone to the funeral, see her family, see their family, say goodbye, sing some songs, and going forward. There are certainly some lessons that I've I've taken away from this whole experience of the past week and the unexpectedness of the event and the feelings that have come up and the going back to my childhood home. So going forward, I just, I intend to carry those lessons, to carry that love, and to continue sharing the things with y'all that have helped me. So that is what I have for today. Happy Full Bloom Friday. And I will see y'all again next week.